If it didn't bounce, you made it again. Okay. Now this, remember, this is 83. Times have changed a lot. I don't know what they do now. And then you went out for reveille. And all those squadrons that there had to report all present and accounted for. Then you went to breakfast. You came back. Sometimes you went to PT. Sometimes you went to classrooms, teaching you traditions of the Air Force and stuff. And then we had 2 weeks of field training, or 3 days of field training. Cold, oh my God, it was the coldest April in history in the state of Texas, I think. It was so bad that the TI that we had was, he called for transportation.
It was very rigorous, and it was long hours, up early, late, going to bed, real rigorous training. But
Navy boots, we call that boot camp, and they don't call it boot camp lightly. It's aptly named, and it was bad, tough. I remember we were there for about 12, 14, 15 weeks. Didn't get out of camp. The only time we got out of camp, they'd put us on a bus, drive down to some canals down by Galveston and let us train when we was jumping off of stuff with our pack and stuff into the water.
When I first got to basic training, the way I was greeted was, hi, I'm Drill Sergeant so-and-so. Everybody get down and start doing push-ups. The first day of service was rough. They typically take away all your freedom that you're accustomed to. Then you gotta earn it, and the main reason why they do that is so you can know what freedom is like.
My basic training was basic Coast Guard training. Of course, it was still a peacetime training program at that time. There wasn't anything particularly involved in as far as war was concerned. You have to remember that the time I went in basic training in 1964, most people had never heard about Vietnam.
Well, you're allowed to take a cell phone to basic training, but you don't keep it. And you have to understand, while at basic training, certain things that we're used to as far as everyday, like cell phones, computers, internet, and stuff like that, that's privilege that has to be earned back. And that's kind of what it does, is manages your time and make you bond as a team and build you, and so you have a building front to build from.
Keeping in shape by just running every morning, every evening. Little hand-to-hand combat. Young bayonet training, throw hand grenades, shot rifles, machine guns.
I was with the company of the 385th Infantry out of the 76th Infantry Division, and I was a scout. I was in A Company in 1st Platoon. So me and two of my buddies, we was always out. Maybe we might be 2 or 3 miles out ahead of the company. And if we saw anything, we got word back to the company commander what was ahead.
And then I was a paratrooper, so paratroopers are deployed by airplane, in mass numbers, to where they can take over a large area in just a few minutes. I mean, compared to having to walk and fight for the ground all the way, you can literally be dropped into the enemy's midst.
Wow.
Which is a very risky business, but it also has many benefits. It has a deterrent for the enemy to fight back if there's an overwhelming force comes and there's less people killed. If you drop 10,000 paratroopers in DeQuincy, nobody's going to pick up a gun. They're going to say, hey, what y'all want?
United States?
The only time that I went overseas during my entire 20 years was to Thailand, and it was my 3rd assignment. I went to Thailand. I was in the Postal Service, We provided postal services for not only us, but several of the out units, like Green Hills, which was just a site out in Thailand, and we had to provide them with. They would either come pick up their mail, or we would send it to them.
Mine was in telephone repair, installation, and maintenance.
I was my side job was as a medevac, helping the corpsmen. We pick up the wounded, get them to the hospital as quick as we can. I didn't tell you this, but let me give you one. We were so good at it, and I wasn't with this particular one, but a guy got hit, and it just happened that there was a helicopter there ready to go. Got hit, they threw him on a helicopter. He was in the operating room in 12 minutes.
We would come in and set up communication bases. The only time I ever run into any Japs was every now and then when we were building these communication systems. Occasionally some of them would dribble out of the caves or the jungles and give themselves up, and we'd go put them in a stockade, but that's the only time I never did have no hand-to-hand combat.
I was a platoon sergeant, had 38 men, and they would bring them, I'd get fellas killed or wounded, they'd bring them up at night and bring me some more. They'd from the States, replacement. And I was in vehicle maintenance, fire truck specialist, working on fire trucks.
Army thing out here, and they got a little old gun sits out in front of it. It's a 37 millimeter anti-tank gun. And that's what I trained on, all in Camp over Oklahoma.
That's all you did?
But when I got into combat, they put me in a first gunner and a machine gun. I never had been in machine guns. But the fella in there, he pointed at me and said, I want you to be my first gunner.
I served in recruiting service for the Navy, for the Army, and the Air Force.
I was a gunner's mate. A gunner's mate is responsible to maintain weapons on board whatever unit he's assigned to.
Of course, I'm originally from Kansas, and my ammo bearer from when I was a machine gunner, he was from Dodge City, Kansas. So we became like brothers, and we still talk. He was drafted. His name's Larry Phillips.
The camaraderie, because that was an elite force. The guys were so close. I mean, we knew each other so well that I'm still writing letters, seeing guys going to visit them after 35 years. I mean, we call each other's, our kids call these guys uncle, and they've never met them. But they talk to them on the phone, they see their pictures, and they, it's really, I feel like I could call any one of them, and they'd be here just like that. I know they could call me.
And so we left everything as it was, came back across the river,